Hello everyone, welcome again to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing 10 steps of how to apply to UK universities by going through the steps I also went through when I applied to UK to a university here. To start with, the first thing you need to do is to do your research. It's very important to do your research because there are many different kinds of universities in the UK. You need to check what the fees are at these universities. You need to check if there are any scholarships on offer. You need to check the modules that are being offered. You need to check the career prospect because the whole point of going to university after all is to be able to get a job afterwards. Because obviously you go to uni, you learn skills, you make friends, but afterwards, after you get your degree, you need to check if this uni actually offers you something in return for the amount of money you must have paid. So you need to check if you want to go to, you need to check the location of the uni also. Check if it's, you want to go to a London uni, to uni outside of London. You need to check the rankings of the uni also, because some people say the rankings are not are not really important, but I feel the rankings of the universities are also important because if it's because the rankings will also sort of affect the employability prospects of the uni sometimes, because employers also prefer to go to higher ranking universities for their lectures to do workshops and different kinds of things. So it's better to actually go to better unis because after all you pay money for it. It's also important that you check the location of the university you'll be applying to, because in the UK, even if you're studying in London, you need to check the commute of, if you're not going to be living in university accommodation, that means you'll be commuting from your house or from a different location to uni. You need to check if it's going to be convenient for you. And if you're coming from abroad and you'll be living in university accommodation, then I think that's ideal for you. You probably don't need to check the commute because you're just going to be living from your university accommodation to your university campus. After you've decided on what uni you want to apply to, the next thing for you to do is to apply on UCAS. You can apply on UCAS or directly to the university you've chosen. If you decide to apply on UCAS, you need to fill in an application form, fill in your academic qualifications if you've got them already, and fill in a personal statement, and afterwards pay the application fee. So once that is all done, once that is all done, then that is your application done. Uh, the other option you have is to apply directly to the university. So you can just go onto the university website and apply directly to them. But not all in the UK, not all universities will accept direct application. So you still need to check if the university you want to apply to allows you to apply directly to them. You need to apply on UCAS. In my own case, I applied on UCAS and I applied to 5 different universities at once. But on UCAS, you also have an option to apply to just one university or to apply to 5 different universities, which it sort of gives you different options. So if you get good grades and you say, oh, you sort of like think maybe I don't want to go to this uni anymore, then you can sort of like decide and say, I don't want to go to that one, then I'm going to choose this one instead. Or you prefer that one, or if you don't get good grades and because you've got 5 different choices, chances are that you get an offer from at least one of those 5 universities that you've applied to. Once your application is done to either through UCAS or directly to the university, the next thing that you'll get is a conditional offer. And what is a conditional offer? A conditional offer is just a tentative offer from the university saying, oh, they've received the application. If you meet the requirement, they'll eventually give you an unconditional offer. So in my own case, I got conditional offers from all of these universities, and then when my grades came out, I submitted my grades to just one of them because that was the only one I actually intended to go to, or that was the only one I eventually decided that I was going to attend. The fourth thing you need to do is to submit your academic qualifications. So if you're doing A levels, for example, and you have your A level results, then you submit your A level qualifications to the university you've applied to. And in this time of coronavirus, for example, when unis are not when schools are not doing A levels and different different criteria are used to assess students, you need to check with your university and see exactly what will be accepted. But if you're an international student, then that means different things will apply to you, so you still need to check with your university whether you need to submit certain documents, whether you need to do certain things, do an interview, submit a portfolio or something like that. Submitted your academic qualifications, the next step is for you to do a CAS interview. A CAS interview is a confirmation of acceptance of studies interview that all international students applying for a tier 4 visa need to go through. So in order for you to actually be able to apply for a tier 4 visa, you need to get a CAS first, because CAS counts, the points you get from a CAS counts towards you getting a tier 4 visa. Because if you don't have a CAS, that means you can apply for a tier 4 visa, because if you apply, that means your visa won't be accepted. So a CAS interview is just an interview with your university to see the reasons why you want to apply, why you want to go to that university, your motivations for applying, your career aspirations, your career prospect, and based on based on the information you provide to them, they'll see whether you're actually a genuine student or not, and will grant you your CAS. Well, in many instances, your universities will actually still grant you your CAS. There are instances where the CAS won't be granted, but it depends on what university, it depends on what you tell them, it depends on how they assess you. So you need to always check with your university. And the next step, once you've passed your CAS interview, is to pay your tuition fee deposit. A tuition fee deposit is usually about £4,000 that you pay before you can apply for your tier 4 visa. In different cases, depending on how well off you are, or 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 depending on whether you want to pay your fees in full or in installments, you can either pay a deposit towards your fees or pay the full tuition fee amount. You can decide to pay £4,000 towards your fees in form of deposit, or pay the full amount, which could be as much as £12,000 to £13,000 to £14,000. It varies, so you need to check with your university. So that's where your research comes into that. You need to know, okay, this university, how much are their fees, how much can I afford to pay at once, am I going to pay in installments, am I going to pay in full. So in the UK, in my uni for example, we're allowed to pay in five monthly installments. So that way it makes paying your fees easier for you, and that way it makes paying your fees easier, because you're paying in installments, you're paying in 5 monthly installments that have been calculated by the university. Whilst you're still sorting out your tuition fee deposit, the next step is to do a tuberculosis testing. Depending on what country you're applying from, you'd be required to do a tuberculosis test. So if you're applying from countries such as Nigeria, from countries such as India, you'd normally be required to do a tuberculosis test. But if a tuberculosis test is not required for every university, so you seem to check with your university, you need to check with the UKVI requirements to see if you actually need to do if you need to do a tuberculosis testing. So if you're applying from Nigeria, for example, you'd from Nigeria, for example, and you're applying for a tier 4 visa, you need to do the tuberculosis testing. You have two options of where to do this test. You can either do the test in Lagos or in Abuja, whichever is more convenient for you. It's important to know that the tuberculosis testing is also not free. So you need to pay for it online and go and do the test after you've booked an appointment. The next step after your tuberculosis testing is done, once you've received your certificate, is to start your online visa application. So your online visa application, this is a process that is usually done with guidance from your university. You'll actually have someone who is an international student advisor from your university who will guide you through the process of applying. So if you, in my own case, for example, when I applied to university, I had help from my university. They were very helpful in helping me to fill the form and making sure that I submitted all the necessary details, I fill in the right information so that my visa application was successful. It's always a good point of call to check with your university before you fill your application form, before you submit it, because you don't want to submit the wrong information, which will mean that your visa will be rejected. And after going through all of this, 7 steps, you don't want to apply for your visa and be rejected. Once you've completed the online visa application, The next step is for you to go to the visa application center in your country. If you're applying from Nigeria, if you're applying from India, for example, if you're applying from different parts of the world, the requirements for submitting these documents vary. So you need to check with your country, you need to check on UKVI website, you need to check with your university also. So if you're applying from Nigeria, it's usually the case that you have to apply either in Lagos or in Abuja. There are branches in their visa application centers in Victoria Island, in Ikeja, and in Abuja. So if you're applying from Nigeria, you'd have to go to one of these three places to submit your visa application. Because you've submitted an online application, the next thing for you to do is to submit your academic qualifications, your birth certificate, your tuberculosis testing, and to do an interview, submit your biometrics. So all of these things will be done at the visa application on the day. Once you've submitted your visa application, done all of the necessary requirements, done the visa application interview, the next step is for you to just wait for your decision letter and see if your visa will be accepted or rejected. Chances are that if your visa is rejected, you can easily contact your university and see if it was UKVI who made a mistake or it was you who made a mistake in your application. In many cases, you can request or submit an administrative review of your application, which means that with your help with the help of your university, you can see what which means that with the help of your university, you can see which means that with the help of your university, you can see what went wrong in your visa application and see if that can be rectified. If that can be rectified, it will normally take like a few weeks before that is done, which may affect your start date, but in the end, chances are that your visa will be granted. But if your visa is rejected for reasons that cannot be reviewed, that means you'll not be able to start your university education that year. So overall, the best thing for you to do is to do your research, make sure your visa application is done neat and tidy, make sure there's no errors in your application, make sure you get as much help from your university as possible, and yeah, once your visa is accepted, you get a vignette in your passport is returned to you, and yeah, you're ready to go. Pack your bags and you're ready to come to London or to whatever uni you've applied to in the UK, and that's how your journey starts. Thank you for watching today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you like it, and stay tuned for more videos to come. Thank you. See you next time.